A razor blade cannot slip between the stones of some ancient walls. How did builders without modern tools achieve such impossible precision? This video will reveal the secrets behind the world's most mystifying stone structures, transforming how you see ancient history. We will investigate stones softened like clay and blocks weighing hundreds of tons moved across mountains. You will discover why these sites are not just ruins but active puzzles that defy conventional explanation. What does our inability to replicate these structures say about the forgotten chapters of human ingenuity? That standard of precision, where a blade cannot find a purchase, is our first clue that we are dealing with something extraordinary. But what truly pushes a structure from being merely ancient to being genuinely inexplicable? It is not simply old age or immense size. Many old and large buildings are well within our understanding of historical engineering. The real mystery begins with a specific set of features that seem to clash directly with the technology we believe was available at the time. First, there is the matter of impossible precision. We are not talking about stones that fit together roughly. We are examining joints so seamless, with corners so perfectly sharp and surfaces so unnaturally flat, that they suggest a method of cutting and polishing far beyond simple chisels and hammers. Then there is the logistics of moving these stones. How did ancient cultures transport blocks of granite weighing 50 tons or more across treacherous mountain passes or even over the sea? The sheer physical effort required defies belief. Finally, many of these sites are locked into the cosmos itself, aligned with solstices, equinoxes, and specific stars with an accuracy that would challenge modern astronomers without their computers. For a structure to truly defy explanation, it must possess a combination of these attributes, creating a puzzle that mainstream archaeology cannot easily solve using the known tools, methods, and social organization of the era. The very existence of these sites asks a quiet but profound question. Have we underestimated the ingenuity of our ancestors, or are we missing entire chapters from the story of human civilization? This is not about wild speculation, but about a genuine, observable gap between what we see on the ground and what our history books can account for. Recognizing the sheer scale of this mystery is the essential first step on a journey to uncover how the seemingly impossible was made real. These impossible walls are found all across the world, a silent conversation between continents. In the high deserts of Egypt, the foundational stones of the Giza Plateau lock together with a geometric perfection that has endured for millennia. Far across the Pacific, off the coast of Japan, the Yonaguni monument presents a submerged enigma, a sprawling complex of terraces and sharp angles carved from solid rock beneath the waves. And in Lebanon, the Baalbek terrace features the Trilithon, 3 stones each weighing over 800 tons, a weight so immense it challenges the capabilities of our own modern cranes. What connects these distant points on the map? The techniques are hauntingly similar, a global signature of a skill we cannot place. This pattern suggests 2 profound possibilities. Either these diverse cultures independently stumbled upon the same profound secrets of stone, or a thread of forgotten knowledge once connected a world we thought was separate. To understand this mystery, we must visit a place where the stonework feels less like construction and more like magic. Perched high in the Peruvian Andes, the fortress of Sacsayhuamán offers a masterclass in the impossible. Its walls are a mosaic of colossal limestone blocks, some weighing hundreds of tons, fitted together in a complex zigzag pattern. The shapes are irregular polygons, yet every single joint is seamless. The curves of one stone perfectly match the concavities of its neighbor, interlocking like a three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle of staggering weight. The precision is so absolute that these walls have withstood centuries of earthquakes that would reduce modern brick buildings to rubble. The stones simply shift and then settle back into place, a testament to a forgotten engineering principle that understood the very land itself. How could a culture without the wheel, without iron tools, have quarried, transported, and shaped these behemoths with such flawless accuracy? The standard explanation of stone hammers and bronze chisels feels entirely inadequate when you stand before stones softened and molded as if they were clay. This is not crude assembly, it is a form of stone alchemy, and it demands a deeper explanation. The stones of Sacsayhuamán feel less like a wall and more like a single, unbroken surface carved from the mountain itself. Each block, some standing twice the height of a person, possesses dozens of intricate angles and beveled edges, locking into its neighbors with a complexity that seems to defy manual labor. How could a civilization without draft animals or the wheel maneuver these 200-ton giants into place? The conventional explanation of stone hammers and bronze chisels struggles to account for the flawless, almost fluid seams. Some surfaces appear polished to a glass-like finish, while others bear subtle, rounded contours as if the hard limestone was once pliable. This has led to fascinating, if controversial, theories. One idea suggests the Incas possessed a lost plant-based chemical compound, a liquid that could temporarily soften stone to a clay-like consistency, allowing artisans to mold and fit each block before it hardened back into its original, unyielding strength. Another, more speculative proposal points to the use of sound, a forgotten acoustic technology where specific resonant frequencies could cancel out the weight of the stones, making them effortless to lift and position with perfect accuracy. While mainstream archaeology focuses on the incredible skill and patience of Inca stonemasons, using sand and water for abrasion over countless generations, the sheer perfection of the site keeps the door open for alternative ideas. These walls are not just a monument, they are a direct challenge, a question etched in stone about the limits of ancient knowledge. To find another piece of this global puzzle, we must travel from the high Andes to an island in the Mediterranean, where a single stone dwarfs everything at Sacsayhuamán and redefines the very meaning of colossal. The sheer scale of these stones forces us to ask how such a thing could ever be built. The mainstream view offers a picture of immense human effort, where thousands of workers used stone hammers, wooden rollers, and earthen ramps to move these giants. It is a testament to organization and sheer will, a theory built on the tools we have found. Yet when faced with the impossible precision of the stone fitting, this explanation can feel incomplete. How do ramps and rollers account for a seamless joint that has survived countless earthquakes? This gap between the known tools and the achieved perfection is where more speculative ideas take root. Some researchers suggest a form of lost machinery, perhaps a sophisticated apparatus for cutting and polishing stone that has since vanished from the historical record. Others look to local legends that speak of a plant-based liquid, a substance that could soften rock into a pliable state, allowing builders to mold it like clay before it hardened back to its original strength. Then there is the haunting concept of acoustic levitation, the idea that specific sound frequencies could somehow negate the crushing weight of a 200-ton block, making it float into place with an almost gentle guidance. These theories are not proven, and they exist on the fringe of accepted science, but their persistence speaks to a deeper truth. They highlight a profound gap in our understanding, a silent question that the stones themselves seem to ask. The debate is not merely about construction techniques, it is about the very limits of ancient human capability. To see this debate play out on an even grander scale, we must journey to a place where the stones are so large they seem to belong to the realm of myth. Buried deep beneath the sands of Abydos, the Osireion feels like a relic from another age. This sprawling underground complex is built from massive red granite blocks, each one perfectly squared and fitted with a precision that echoes the finest work at Giza. The surfaces are unnaturally smooth, as if finished by a machine rather than hand tools, and the scale is cyclopean, dwarfing any human presence. What truly confounds archaeologists is its style. It appears far more ancient and stark than the temple complex that stands above it. While the upper temple is attributed to Seti I, the Osireion's construction feels fundamentally different, so much so that many researchers argue it is a remnant of a far older civilization, simply rediscovered and incorporated by the later Egyptians. This is not just a tomb, it is a statement in stone, and its message challenges our entire timeline of history. Adding to the mystery is the structure's unique relationship with water. The central hall was designed to be flooded, surrounded by a channel and featuring a small island, suggesting a ceremonial purpose tied to the cycles of creation and renewal. This intentional use of hydraulics points to a sophisticated understanding of engineering and symbolism, a purpose that goes far beyond a simple resting place. The presence of water here connects it to other enigmatic sites around the world, as if the builders shared a common knowledge that water was not just a resource, but a fundamental tool in their forgotten science. The Osireion stands as a silent witness, its impossible precision and aquatic design forcing us to wonder if the greatest achievements of ancient Egypt were not inventions but inheritances. The recurring presence of water at these sites is too deliberate to be a coincidence. At Tiwanaku in Bolivia, a high-altitude metropolis that seems to defy its harsh environment, we find a network of channels and pools carved with a geometric precision that mirrors the site's megalithic architecture. These are not simple drainage ditches, they are intricate, interlocking forms cut into solid stone, suggesting a profound understanding of hydraulics. Far across the world, the Yonaguni monument off the coast of Japan presents an even deeper aquatic mystery. Submerged beneath the waves, this sprawling complex features what appear to be massive terraces, sharp right-angled corners, and even staircases ascending a monolithic structure. Was this a ceremonial center or a functional facility that was swallowed by the sea, preserving a lost chapter of history beneath the ocean? The integration of water seems to have been fundamental to the builder's vision. On a practical level, some researchers propose that ancient engineers used elaborate canal systems to transport their colossal stones, floating them on man-made waterways to bypass the near-impossible task of overland haulage. Water could have also served as a perfect lubricant, allowing teams of workers to slide multi-ton blocks into their final, impossibly precise positions with minimal friction. Yet the purpose was likely far more than just functional. Water held immense ritual significance in many ancient cultures, representing life, purification, and the flow of cosmic energy. The channels at Tiwanaku and the flooded halls of the Osireion might have been designed to harness this power, merging practical engineering with spiritual belief in a way we can barely comprehend today. This fluid connection between earth and water, the solid and the liquid, appears to be a recurring signature of a lost technological paradigm, and it leads us to the most baffling question of all. How do you explain stones that look as if they were not carved but poured into place? The stones themselves seem to whisper of fire. In the highlands of Scotland and the rolling hills of France, the remains of ancient hill forts hold a secret locked in their very substance. Here, sections of the massive stone ramparts are not merely stacked, they are fused. The rock has been transformed, melted, and resolidified into a glassy, obsidian-like crust clinging to the granite blocks. This is vitrification, a process that demands temperatures hotter than a blast furnace, far beyond what a simple bonfire could ever produce. The very existence of these walls presents a thermal riddle. Why would anyone deliberately subject their own defensive walls to such infernal heat? One theory suggests it was a desperate final act, a way to strengthen the ramparts against invaders by turning the outer layer into a continuous, impenetrable shell. Yet achieving such a feat with the technology of the time seems implausible. How did they generate that kind of sustained, intense fire without the fuels and bellows of a modern foundry? Alternative explanations look to the skies, proposing that a massive, concentrated lightning strike could have flash-heated the stone. Other, more speculative ideas point to legends of ancient energy weapons or lost methods of focusing the sun's rays. The vitrified rock is a permanent, molten testament to a force we cannot easily explain. It forces us to expand our understanding of the past, to consider that ancient builders may have wielded control over elemental powers like extreme heat in ways we are only beginning to glimpse. This silent, glassy stone speaks a language of transformation, a final, fiery signature on a mystery written in stone and earth. Beyond the colossal stones and their impossible fits lies a quieter mystery, one etched in shallow lines and cryptic shapes. Scattered across the polished surfaces of ancient megaliths are carvings, a silent language waiting to be read. For a long time, these were dismissed as simple quarry marks, the signatures of a work crew, or perhaps ritual graffiti. But what if these symbols are something far more profound? At the Serapeum of Saqqara in Egypt, a subterranean world of colossal granite boxes, each weighing over 70 tons and polished to a machine-like smoothness, these marks take on a new significance. Here, in the profound silence, symbols are carved with the same flawless precision as the stonework itself. They are not haphazard scratches. Some researchers propose these are assembly instructions, a kind of IKEA-style guide for the ages, indicating which side of a multi-ton lid should be lifted first, or how one box was meant to align with its neighbor. Others see them as records of a lost mathematical or measuring system, a code that could explain how such perfect geometries were achieved without blueprints. Could a simple spiral or a series of dots encode a specific angle or a unit of length we no longer recognize? Deciphering this language is a global detective story. From the strange glyphs on the stones of Tiwanaku to the recurring symbols in the chambers of the Great Pyramid, the same patterns seem to emerge across continents and cultures. This suggests a shared, formalized knowledge, a technical lexicon understood by the master builders of the ancient world. The marks are a direct link to the minds of the architects, a fleeting glimpse into a sophisticated planning process that happened long before the first stone was ever quarried. This was not brute force construction, it was a meticulously choreographed performance, and these symbols were the sheet music. The pursuit of their meaning forces us to stop seeing these sites as just piles of rock and to start reading them as complex documents, each mark a potential word in a sentence explaining the impossible. The marks on the stones may have been a language for the builders, but the structures themselves speak a different tongue, one written in the movements of the sun and stars. Consider the silent, standing circle of Stonehenge on the English plains. Every year on the summer solstice, the rising sun aligns perfectly with the central axis of the monument, its rays slicing through the heart of the stone circle with unerring accuracy. This is not a lucky guess. Far to the south, the Mnajdra temples on the island of Malta are oriented with equal precision, their lower temple doorway capturing the first light of the equinox sun, painting the inner chambers with a beam of light that marks the changing seasons. These alignments are not isolated occurrences, they form a global pattern. How could cultures separated by vast oceans and millennia achieve such consistent, long-term celestial targeting without a shared, sophisticated system of planning? The answer lies in a lost form of blueprint. Without written records as we know them, these ancient architects must have relied on something else. Perhaps they used intricate geometrical models sketched in sand or carved onto perishable wood, diagrams that encoded complex astronomical relationships. It is even possible this advanced knowledge was preserved and transmitted through an oral tradition of staggering precision, where master builders passed down exact measurements and star charts through generations of recitation. This was more than just watching the sky. It was a profound application of geometry and mathematics, a science capable of projecting a design across centuries. The very ground was their parchment, and the heavens provided the ruler and compass. This celestial guidance system raises an even more practical question. What kind of tools did these master surveyors use to translate their cosmic blueprints into stone with such unshakable accuracy? The marks on the stones may be a language, but the drill holes in Egypt are a whisper of the machines that wrote it. Deep within the granite quarries of Aswan and scattered across the Giza Plateau, you can find these small, circular scars. They are not the rough pockmarks of hand tools. They are core samples and boreholes that tell a story of immense, focused power. The granite itself holds the memory of the tool that cut it, preserving spiral grooves that run in a perfect, consistent pattern from the surface deep into the heart of the stone. This is the unmistakable signature of a drill bit that was fed downward with a tremendous, unrelenting pressure, a technique that matches modern ultrasonic drilling or machinery using diamond-tipped bits. The implications are staggering. To achieve such a clean, fast cut in a material as hard as granite suggests a technology that applied both immense weight and rapid rotation, a process that would have required more than simple manpower and copper tubes with sand abrasive. The precision of these grooves speaks of a tool that did not waver, a machine that held a perfectly steady force as it chewed through the unyielding rock. This is microscopic evidence for a macro-scale mystery. It suggests that the builders possessed an industrial knowledge, a grasp of mechanics and material science that has left behind only these cryptic, circular clues. If they had the capability to drill through granite as if it were soft wood, what other sophisticated tools have been lost to time? The existence of these drill holes forces us to completely re-evaluate the workshop of the ancient world. It was not just a place of chisels and hammers, but potentially a space humming with advanced machinery, the true nature of which remains just out of sight. This mastery over the very substance of stone leads directly to the next great puzzle, the monumental effort of moving these raw materials from their source to their final, sacred destinations. The silent drill holes in Egypt tell us the stones could be cut, but the greater puzzle is how they were moved. Transporting a single multi-hundred-ton block from its quarry to a sacred building site is a logistical nightmare that would challenge our own modern engineers and their heaviest equipment. The risks were immense, as shown by the unfinished obelisk in Aswan. This colossal shaft of granite, still attached to the bedrock, was abandoned after a catastrophic crack appeared. A single flaw doomed a project weighing over 1,200 tons, a permanent monument to the staggering ambition and the ever-present peril of this work. So how were the successful transports achieved? The most widely accepted theories paint a picture of immense, coordinated labor. For the Egyptians, this likely meant massive wooden sledges dragged by hundreds of workers across desert sand, with a team constantly wetting the path ahead to reduce friction. Others propose elaborate systems of rolling logs or even sophisticated counterweight mechanisms, turning the impossible into a slow, grinding but manageable process. Yet some mysteries resist even these explanations. On the remote island of Rapa Nui, the iconic Moai statues present their own riddle. Oral traditions passed down through generations do not speak of dragging, but of the statues walking. The ancestors described the massive stone figures swaying from side to side as they were guided across the landscape, a method some researchers have tested with small-scale models and teams of people using ropes to create a rocking, walking motion. Whether by sledge, rolling logs, or a ceremonial walk, the common thread is not just manpower but mind power. The movement of these giants required a society with advanced project management skills, with planners who could coordinate thousands of workers, manage food and water supplies for months, and solve unforeseen engineering problems on the fly. This was a triumph of human organization as much as it was a feat of raw strength. Such a profound level of societal coordination forces us to wonder if the roots of this knowledge run even deeper than we suspect, pointing to the possibility of a master civilization whose influence laid the groundwork for all the others. The silent testimony of these stones points toward a radical idea that echoes through the halls of alternative history. What if the threads connecting Sacsayhuamán, Baalbek, and the Osireion are not evidence of independent genius, but the scattered fragments of a single, forgotten source? This is the Antediluvian Hypothesis, the suggestion that a progenitor civilization, advanced and global, was lost in the distant past, perhaps to a cataclysm like the Great Floods described in countless cultural legends. Its survivors, this theory proposes, became the teachers who seeded the knowledge of megalithic construction among emerging cultures across the world. This would explain the uncanny technical similarities between peoples who, according to our current timeline, should have had no contact. Plato's account of Atlantis, a sophisticated island nation that sank beneath the waves in a single day and night, is often held up as the archetypal story of such a lost world. While mainstream archaeology rightly demands concrete proof, which this theory lacks, its power lies in the profound question it raises about the very shape of human history. Our conventional view is one of linear progress, a steady climb from primitive beginnings to modern complexity. But the Antediluvian Hypothesis suggests a different rhythm, one of cycles. Civilizations may rise to incredible heights, only to be reset by planetary upheaval, their greatest achievements crumbling into the very myths we dismiss as mere stories. The evidence for this is not found in artifacts we can hold, but in the stones we cannot explain. These structures, built to last for ages, become the enduring monuments of a world we can no longer see. They challenge our deepest assumptions about the past, forcing us to wonder if our own civilization is the first to reach for the stars, or merely the latest to forget the lessons of the last great fall. These walls do more than simply stand, they dance with the earth itself. While modern cities crumble in powerful tremors, the ancient polygonal walls of the Andes shift and settle, their intricate puzzle of interlocking stones absorbing the shock without collapsing. This is not a matter of luck, it is a masterclass in seismic engineering, designed with a profound understanding of the land's restless nature. The builders understood that a rigid structure fights the Earth's movement and loses, while a flexible one moves with it and endures. Each uniquely shaped block, locked tightly to its neighbors, creates a dynamic system that dissipates energy, a principle our own engineers are only now fully appreciating. This same foresight is etched into the Great Pyramid's 4.5 millennia of near-perfect preservation. Its sheer mass and precise geometry anchor it against the elements and the occasional tremor, a testament to a design philosophy that looked thousands of years into the future. This longevity forces a humbling realization. The builders were not just constructing for their own time, They were engineering for eternity, creating monuments intended to outlast their own names and civilizations. They worked with the forces of nature, not against them, embedding a deep wisdom of geology and physics into every stone. This incredible durability, this quiet conversation with time, leads us to the ultimate question. Why did they go to such impossible lengths? What profound purpose demanded such eternal endurance? The true function of these enigmatic sites remains one of history's most captivating debates. Was Sacsayhuamán an impenetrable fortress, its zigzagging walls designed to repel human invaders, or was it a ceremonial center, its form mirroring the jagged peaks of the sacred Andes? The Osireion, with its flooded central chamber, seems clearly dedicated to rituals of death and rebirth, a far cry from any military use. This division between the practical and the spiritual is often misleading. For the ancient mind, these concepts were not separate. A wall was not just a physical barrier, it was a spiritual boundary. A temple was not merely a place of worship, it was an instrument for understanding the cosmos. The sheer, almost obsessive precision found in so many of these structures feels disproportionate if their goal was purely utilitarian. Why invest generations in achieving a seamless joint that a simpler, rougher fit could accomplish for defensive purposes? The answer may lie in a worldview where harmony in construction mirrored a cosmic order. The specific choice of stone, the alignment with a solstice sunrise, and the recurring presence of mathematical constants like pi encoded into the dimensions all point to a deeper purpose. This was not just building, it was a form of high science and devotion combined, an attempt to tether the earthly realm to the celestial one through perfect geometry. To understand the intent of the builders is to finally hear the message they carved in stone for the ages. This search for meaning inevitably leads us from the grand scales of the monuments to the hidden mathematical codes whispering from their very proportions. The silent perfection of the stonework holds a deeper secret, a hidden language of numbers and form. Look beyond the immense blocks of the Great Pyramid, and you find its true genius encoded in its very shape. The ratio of its base perimeter to its original height is a close approximation of 2 times pi, the mathematical constant that defines the circle. This was not a coincidence. The builders deliberately embedded this fundamental relationship into the structure, a pyramid containing the geometry of a sphere. Across the sea, the standing stones of Stonehenge are arranged in patterns that reflect advanced geometric understanding, from simple circles to complex pentagons, all laid out with a surveyor's precision. This was sacred geometry, a world view where mathematical harmony was believed to reflect the very fabric of the cosmos. To construct a building using these principles was to create a resonant chamber for cosmic energy, a stable point in a chaotic world that mirrored the perfect order of the heavens. The flawless execution of these designs proves this was not mystical guesswork, but a rigorous scientific tradition. The master builders were also master mathematicians, capable of translating abstract constants into monumental stone. This numerical precision flows directly into the artistry of the carvings. The same hand that calculated the perfect angle for a pyramid also incised symbols with a jeweler's exactness, suggesting that for these artisans, mathematics and art were 2 expressions of the same universal truth. The stones are not just built, they are computed, and their silent equations challenge our perception of ancient science. The stones of Puma Punku lie scattered as if a giant's toy box was overturned across the Bolivian Altiplano. These are not simple blocks, they are intricate components of andesite and granite, each one a geometric masterpiece cut with razor-sharp precision. You see perfect right angles, complex T-shaped channels, and surfaces so flat they seem to have been planed by a machine. Many stones feature drilled holes of identical diameter, bored with a consistency that suggests the use of a template or a drill press, not a handheld tool. The overall impression is not of a ruined building, but of a prefabricated architectural kit, designed with interlocking parts meant to be assembled into a structure whose final form we can only guess at. The sheer complexity of these shapes makes the site an archaeological nightmare. How do you reassemble a puzzle when you have lost the instructions, and the pieces themselves seem to belong to a technology out of place in time? This is why Puma Punku is often called a stone library. Each block is like a single page from a manual on advanced stone cutting, a page we can see and touch but cannot read. The means of its creation are completely divorced from the known tools of the era. The local culture had no known system of writing, no wheels, and no iron, yet they supposedly produced these engineering marvels. The andesite stone itself is exceptionally hard, rivaling granite in its durability. To achieve such flawless, intricate work would require diamond-tipped tools and industrial machinery in our own time. The puzzle of Puma Punku is not just about who built it, but how they could have possibly conceived of such a design without a formal written language or blueprints as we understand them. It stands as a stark, silent challenge to our linear view of technological progress. From this Bolivian highland mystery, the trail of enigmatic stonework leads us across the Atlantic to the sun-drenched islands of the Mediterranean. While the stones of Puma Punku lie shattered, the temples of Malta stand remarkably intact. On these sun-scorched islands in the heart of the Mediterranean, you can walk through doorways carved from solid limestone over 5,000 years ago. These are the megalithic temples, structures like Haga Kim and Mnajdra, and they hold the title of the oldest free-standing buildings on Earth, predating even the Great Pyramid of Giza. Their existence alone is a profound statement. Massive, curved walls embrace a series of interconnected chambers, forming a shape often described as a cloverleaf, all built with blocks that weigh many tons. The stone fitting here is not the polygonal puzzle of the Andes, but a different kind of precision. The builders used Globigerina limestone, a stone soft enough to be worked with primitive tools yet hard enough to endure for millennia. They shaped it into imposing slabs and then fitted them together with an observant care that has left these structures standing for over 5,000 years. What truly captivates the visitor, however, is the artistry. The stone is not merely stacked, it is adorned. Doorways and altar stones are covered in a tapestry of carved patterns, most notably the intricate spiral, a symbol that seems to echo across ancient cultures worldwide. This was not crude construction, it was a sacred art form. The precision extends from the carvings to the cosmos itself. Just as at Stonehenge, the temples are locked into the solar calendar. The lower temple at Mnajdra is a masterpiece of archaeoastronomy. On the equinoxes, the rising sun's rays pierce the main doorway and illuminate a central slab. On the solstices, the light strikes the edges of large stone panels on either side of the doorway, marking the sun's extreme northern and southern limits with an accuracy that required generations of observation to perfect. This celestial alignment, combined with the advanced nature of the architecture, makes the mystery of Malta's builders even deeper. Who were these people? They left no written records, only these colossal temples. They had no known contact with other major civilizations of the era, yet they developed a unique and sophisticated architectural tradition in complete isolation. Their society flourished, building these complex sites for over 1,000 years, and then, quite suddenly, they vanished. The temples were abandoned, and the culture disappeared from the historical record, leaving behind no clear explanation for their decline. Was it a period of hardship, a shift in climate, or a societal collapse? We may never know. Their silent stones are a powerful reminder that a civilization does not need to be vast or expansionist to achieve the impossible. It simply needs a vision profound enough to build for eternity. The scattered stones of the ancient world present a profound riddle for our understanding of human history. How is it that cultures separated by vast oceans and thousands of years developed such eerily similar techniques for working stone? On one side of this great debate is the idea of cultural diffusion, the notion that this advanced knowledge was carried across the globe by intrepid seafarers navigating forgotten routes. Perhaps a single, highly advanced progenitor civilization, now lost to time, served as a common teacher, seeding the principles of megalithic construction before fading into myth. This would neatly explain the shared signature of impossible precision from the Andes to the Nile. The alternative explanation is one of independent invention. This view holds that humanity's creative spirit is a universal constant, and that different societies, when faced with similar challenges of building monumental, enduring structures, can independently arrive at parallel solutions. They each discovered that polygonal walls resist earthquakes, that certain stone shapes lock together more securely, and that celestial alignment brings both practical and spiritual benefits. The evidence on the ground is frustratingly ambiguous. While the technical feats feel similar, the styles, the specific religious purposes, and the local methods show distinct regional flavors. The debate is far more than an academic exercise. It strikes at the very heart of human innovation, asking whether our greatest leaps are made in isolation or through a shared, collective pool of knowledge passed between cultures. To find a clue, we must examine a place where the construction seems to ignore the laws of physics entirely, a site that appears to be a product of pure, concentrated knowledge. The mystery of megalithic construction did not end with the ancient world. In the 20th century, a single man performed a feat that seems to echo the impossible works of the past. In Homestead, Florida, the Coral Castle stands as a modern monument to one man's secret. Ed Leedskalnin, a 5-foot-tall, 100-pound Latvian immigrant, single-handedly quarried, carved, and positioned over 1,000 tons of oolite limestone. He created a sprawling complex of massive rocking chairs, a 9-ton gate that pivoted with the push of a finger, and a perfectly accurate sundial, all working alone and mostly under the cover of darkness. When asked how he managed such a thing, he would only say that he understood the laws of weight and leverage, and that he knew how the Egyptians built the pyramids. He never revealed his true methods, leaving behind only his monumental garden and a profound personal riddle. How could one man, using only simple tools found in his shed, accomplish what should have required industrial cranes and a large crew? The theories are as varied as they are fascinating. Some point to Leedskalnin's own cryptic writings about magnetism and a misunderstood cosmic energy, suggesting he had discovered a way to counteract gravity itself. Others propose he used a system of chains, pulleys, and tripods to apply principles of leverage in exceptionally clever ways. Yet engineers who have studied the site remain baffled by the sheer tonnage and precision involved, especially the famous revolving gate, a 9-ton piece of stone so perfectly balanced it could be moved by a child. The Coral Castle proves that the enigma of moving massive stone is not locked in a distant, unrecorded past. It is a puzzle from our own modern era, a quiet challenge from one man who claimed to have rediscovered a secret the ancients once knew. Ed Leedskalnin took his secrets to his final resting place, a stark reminder of how easily knowledge can vanish. Without written blueprints, the master builders of the ancient world relied on a different kind of library, one made not of parchment but of people. The flawless execution we see in the stones required a living chain of information, passed meticulously from master to apprentice across countless generations. This was not casual storytelling, it was a rigorous oral tradition where complex mathematical formulas, precise astronomical alignments, and intricate construction sequences were committed to memory through song, poetry, and recitation. A single error in transmission could mean a misaligned temple or a collapsed wall, so the knowledge was guarded with immense care, likely within closed guilds or secret societies. These master masons were the living repositories of their civilization's greatest technological achievements. So what happened to break this chain? The causes are as old as humanity itself. Periods of great conflict could decimate a population, scattering or eliminating the specialized builders. A prolonged famine or a widespread illness could disrupt the social order so completely that the careful training of new apprentices became impossible. Sometimes a cultural or religious revolution might have deliberately suppressed the old ways, deeming the knowledge of the previous era heretical or obsolete. The techniques were so specialized, known to so few, that their survival was always precarious. The loss of this wisdom is a humbling lesson in the fragility of human accomplishment. Our own civilization, for all its digital archives, is not immune to such a rupture. The silent stones stand as a permanent challenge, urging us to recover what was lost. Today, this pursuit drives researchers to employ tools the original builders could never have conceived of. Using ground-penetrating radar to map hidden chambers and advanced laser scanning to create three-dimensional models of every microscopic imperfection, scientists are reverse engineering these monuments. They are searching for the hidden logic, the shared mathematical constant, the recurring architectural rule that might finally unlock the builder's oral textbook. This modern quest is more than just archaeological curiosity. It is an attempt to start a conversation with the past, to listen for the faint, fading echo of a master's voice. The silent stones are now being questioned by lasers and radar. Modern science has brought its most advanced tools to this ancient mystery, deploying three-dimensional laser scanning and ground-penetrating radar to see what the naked eye cannot. These technologies allow researchers to map every contour and angle with sub-millimeter precision, creating perfect digital twins of the monuments without ever touching the stone. This high-resolution scanning has revealed geometric relationships so exact they were imperceptible for centuries, showing that what looked like intuition was actually a rigorous, hidden mathematics. Ground-penetrating radar sends pulses deep into the Earth, uncovering networks of hidden chambers and tunnels beneath sites like the pyramids, spaces that have been sealed since their construction. The very substance of the stones is also under scrutiny. Material analysis of tool marks on granite and basalt surfaces shows patterns of wear and microscopic striations that suggest the use of specific and incredibly durable cutting implements. Perhaps the most tantalizing modern discovery comes from thermal scans of the Great Pyramid. These studies have identified striking thermal anomalies, specific blocks that heat up and cool down at a different rate than their neighbors, hinting at unknown construction materials or perhaps the presence of hidden voids behind the known chambers. This scientific approach provides undeniable hard data, but it rarely offers simple answers. Instead, each new piece of information seems to deepen the central mystery, revealing a level of planning and sophistication that is even more profound than we suspected. The marriage of this ancient art with our most modern science is not about debunking legends, but about finally learning to ask the right questions. As our technology continues to advance, so does our potential to listen to the quiet story these stones have been waiting millennia to tell. The ocean floor holds a mystery that could reshape our entire timeline of human civilization. Off the coast of Japan, the Yonaguni monument rises from the seabed, a sprawling complex of rock formations that look unnaturally geometric. You see what appear to be massive, wide terraces descending like a giant staircase. There are sharp, 90-degree angles cut into the stone, and surfaces so flat and parallel they seem to have been planed by a tool. Pillar-like structures stand nearby, and a triangular entranceway beckons from the depths. The entire site feels like the ruins of a sunken city, a sensation that is both awe-inspiring and deeply unsettling. The central debate surrounding Yonaguni is a clash of two worlds, geology versus archaeology. Skeptics argue that the sandstone in this region is prone to fracturing along natural plains, and that the powerful underwater currents have, over millennia, sculpted these seemingly perfect shapes by pure chance. They point to other geological formations around the world that produce flat surfaces and right angles without human intervention. Yet for those who have dived its silent avenues, the sheer concentration of these features in one place feels deliberate. How does nature carve a perfect archway or a set of steps with such uniform height and depth? The most compelling arguments for a human hand point to specific details that nature struggles to replicate. There are two round holes bored into a rock platform, holes that align perfectly with each other, suggesting a functional purpose. There are channel-like grooves that seem to direct water flow in a specific pattern. And then there is the sheer scale of it all, a monolithic structure nearly 500 feet long and 130 feet tall, a project of staggering ambition. If this is indeed a man-made structure, its implications are revolutionary. For it to be above water and accessible to builders, it would have been constructed during the last ice age, when sea levels were hundreds of feet lower. That places its possible origin over 10,000 years ago, a time when mainstream history tells us humans were simple hunter-gatherers, incapable of the collective organization and advanced engineering such a monument would demand. Yonaguni is not just a sunken ruin, it is a potential time capsule from a lost epoch, a ghost from a landscape that vanished beneath the waves. This underwater frontier challenges us to reconsider the map of the ancient world and the true capabilities of the people who walked it. The landscape we see today is not the one the builders knew. Many of the world's most mystifying sites were constructed in environments that have since transformed beyond recognition. The Yonaguni monument, now submerged under the sea, would have stood on dry land during the last ice age, when ocean levels were hundreds of feet lower. Its construction, if human, speaks to a world with a vastly different coastline. Elsewhere, the relentless march of sand tells another story. The Great Sahara Desert was once a lush, green savanna, a fact that forces us to reconsider the context of the monuments built on its fringes. This climatic upheaval provides a powerful clue to one of Egypt's greatest enigmas. The Great Sphinx of Giza, a lion-bodied sentinel carved from the bedrock, shows deep, vertical fissures along its body. To many geologists, these are not the marks of wind and sand, but of heavy, sustained rainfall, the kind that has not fallen on the Egyptian plateau for thousands of years. This water erosion suggests the Sphinx could be far older than traditionally believed, a relic from a time when the desert was a verdant plain. Understanding this ancient climate, the paleo-environment, is like finding a lost key. It helps us date structures more accurately and grasp the immense challenges their creators overcame. They were not just building for their present, but for a future they could not predict, on an Earth that was a dynamic and shifting canvas. Their resilience in the face of a changing world leads us to one final marvel, a structure that embodies this eternal struggle between human ambition and the forces of nature, found in the heart of the Middle East. The Roman columns of Baalbek are a later echo of a far greater mystery. They stand upon a platform that defies all logic, a foundation built from stones of impossible scale. Here, set into the western wall, are the three colossal blocks known as the Trilithon. Each one is a limestone giant measuring over 60 feet long, 14 feet high, and 12 feet wide, with a weight that staggers the mind at roughly 800 tons. To put that into perspective, that is the weight of 2 fully loaded jumbo jets for a single stone. Yet the wonder does not end there. Beneath this tier lies an even older course of masonry, containing a fourth monolith recently uncovered by archaeologists, a block that is even larger, estimated at a staggering 1,650 tons. It remains in its quarry, a silent witness to an ambition that even its creators may have found overwhelming. The logistics of moving just one of these stones are a nightmare of physics. They were quarried nearly a mile away from the temple site, requiring transport across uneven terrain and a significant elevation gain. How do you lift a loaded jumbo jet and slide it up a hill? Modern construction would require fleets of the world's most powerful hydraulic cranes working in concert, a level of technology that simply did not exist in the ancient world. The precision of their placement adds another layer of awe. These behemoths are fitted together with joints so tight and surfaces so perfectly flush that they have withstood millennia of earthquakes and conflicts. This was not brute force construction, it was a ballet of giants, choreographed with an engineering foresight we can scarcely comprehend. The sheer audacity of the project speaks of a civilization, or a succession of them, operating with a level of confidence and capability that feels almost superhuman. Such an endeavor, however, could never have been achieved without a profound societal commitment. The investment in human life and labor must have been immense, raising a quiet but essential question about the cost of such eternal monuments. The silent stones of Baalbek could never have been raised by engineering alone. They are a testament to the sheer force of human society, a vast and coordinated effort that must have consumed generations. To move an 800-ton block required hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals working in perfect unison, not just for a day, but for years on end. This was more than a construction project, it was a civilization's ultimate undertaking. The true mystery extends beyond how they cut the stone to how they organized the people. Were these workers compelled by a powerful ruler, driven by a deep religious devotion, or were they skilled artisans compensated for their labor? Evidence from sites like the Egyptian pyramids suggests a workforce of paid, seasonal laborers who were housed and fed in nearby, purpose-built settlements, their efforts a form of national service. This level of organization implies a sophisticated central authority capable of managing immense resources, from food and water for the workforce to the complex logistics of housing and tools. The stones themselves are the final product of this invisible social machine, a machine built on communication, shared purpose, and a collective vision so powerful it could align the efforts of thousands toward a single, monumental goal. This reflection on the human cost and cooperation behind these wonders naturally leads us to ponder their ultimate purpose, a purpose that may be written not in the stones, but in the stars themselves. The ghost of a forgotten technology whispers through the stones of later ages, even after the master builders vanished and their methods faded into legend. The shadow of their work fell across the centuries. The conquistadors who marched into the Inca capital of Cusco were awestruck by the stonework they could not dismantle. Instead of fighting it, they built upon it. Colonial churches and mansions rose directly from the foundations of those indestructible polygonal walls, a silent admission that this ancient engineering was superior to anything they had brought from Europe. This fusion of old and new created a unique architectural language, one where the unmovable bedrock of the past literally supported the new world imposed upon it. That same impulse for perfect geometry, so evident in the Great Pyramid's proportions, seems to have been reborn millennia later. Look up at the soaring vaults of a Gothic cathedral. The ribbed arches and flying buttresses are a complex exercise in applied mathematics, a structural echo of the same principles that allowed ancient stones to withstand the test of time. The Renaissance architects, rediscovering the texts of antiquity, did not just copy Roman forms, they sought to embody the same harmonic ratios they saw in the ruins around them. They were trying to recapture a lost feeling of cosmic order, a sense that a building could be in tune with the universe itself. This enduring human drive for perfection and monumentality connects the pyramid to the cathedral and the megalithic temple to the modern skyscraper. We may build with steel and glass now, but the ambition remains the same: to create something that speaks across the ages. This legacy reveals a profound truth. The core principles of stability, harmony, and alignment are not inventions but rediscoveries. The echoes of the ancient masters were never truly lost. They were simply waiting to be heard again by those who knew how to listen. As we stand at the end of this journey, what final understanding can we draw from these scattered, impossible stones? These scattered monuments speak a common language. From the Andes to the Nile, the same signature appears in stone, a set of shared traits that form a global fingerprint of the impossible. The first thread is a universal obsession with precision, a drive toward geometric perfection that seems to transcend mere function. Whether it is the interlocking polygons of Sacsayhuamán or the machine-cut boxes of the Serapeum, the goal was not just to build but to create a seamless whole. This is followed by a colossal scale that defies practical necessity, moving stones of hundreds of tons when smaller blocks would have sufficed. Then there is the celestial connection, the deliberate alignment with solstices, equinoxes, and specific stars, weaving the structures into the very fabric of the cosmos. These sites are not simply old, they are engineered to be eternal, displaying a profound understanding of seismic activity and environmental resilience that allowed them to outlast the civilizations that created them. The technical similarities are equally striking. The use of polygonal masonry, which creates a flexible, earthquake-resistant wall, appears in cultures that should have had no contact. The intentional incorporation of water, from the flooded chambers of the Osireion to the intricate canals of Tiwanaku, suggests a shared symbolic or practical use for hydraulics that we are only beginning to grasp. Most tellingly, these builders embedded advanced mathematics into their work, encoding constants like pi and the golden ratio into the proportions of their pyramids and temples. So what does this pattern mean? One possibility is that humanity possesses a shared creative spirit, a universal engineering intuition that leads different cultures to discover the same optimal solutions when faced with the challenge of building for eternity. The other, more tantalizing idea is that these common threads are the faint echo of a foundational influence, a source of advanced knowledge that was scattered across the globe in a forgotten age. The evidence does not point to a single, simple answer, but to a complex tapestry of human ingenuity whose full picture we are only now starting to see. Our journey across continents and millennia reveals a profound truth: that human history is written in a language of stone we are still learning to read. From the seamless walls of Sacsayhuamán to the submerged terraces of Yonaguni, these structures are not merely ruins, they are permanent questions etched into the landscape. They challenge the simplicity of our timelines and demand we reconsider the ingenuity of our ancestors. The mystery is not a void in our knowledge, but an invitation to look deeper, to question more boldly, and to embrace the beautiful complexity of the past. While definitive answers may remain elusive for now, the search itself expands our understanding of what is possible. It pushes the frontiers of science and archaeology, blending rigorous data with the boundless realms of human imagination. Perhaps the ultimate purpose of these enigmatic sites is not to surrender their secrets, but to forever inspire in us a sense of wonder, a drive to explore, and the humility to recognize that the greatest chapters of our story may still be waiting to be uncovered. Thank you for joining this exploration of the world's most enduring puzzles. If these ancient wonders have sparked your own thoughts, we would love to hear your theories in the comments below. And for more journeys into the unexplained, be sure to subscribe.